Hey guys, it's Miss Alejo. So I wrote my very own personal narrative using the rules or the structure of personal narratives that we just learned about on the very top of this infographic. Um, so before I start, I just kind of want to explain. So you might notice that it looks like I've color coded my narrative, and what those are the different colors correlate with the different little elements of personal narrative. For example, green shows where I focus on my small moment. Blue shows where I painted a picture with sensory details. Pink is my hook. Yellow is dialogue and action. Purple is where I show emotion. And orange is my conclusion. So now that you see that, I want you to be paying attention as I'm reading this and notice the different color codings and see where I did it. Because when you go off, I want you to try to imitate what I do. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started on my story. It's titled A Muddy Apology. A shiver runs straight through me as I rinse myself off with my backyard water hose. I almost wish that it was still raining. Maybe I wouldn't be as muddy as I am now. I look over at Adelina, and she's as muddy as I am, maybe even more. I can't help but feel the sting of guilt as I recall laughing at her. We sit in silence for a moment as we tend to our bruised bodies and egos. Soon, the cold water not only cools my body, it also cools my temper. And I chuckle as I run the whole ordeal through my mind once more. Just 10 minutes before this, I was nice and cozy on my couch. I had instructed Adelina to collect eggs from our chicken coop. She and Olive, our German Shepherd puppy, set off. Looking back, I now see that I should have warned her to go alone. You see, the chickens drove Olive crazy, and she loved to chase them. Today was no different. Slam! I jumped at the sound of the back door. Then I heard an angry cry. Mama, get over here now! I doubled over with laughter as I reached for my camera and snapped a picture of my pouty and muddy child. The sound of the snap caused her to shout in rage. If it's so funny, why don't you go and finish this? I leaned over and looked toward the coop. Olive was barking as she chased a loose chicken around our muddy yard. Ugh, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Famous last thought of a fool. I put on my sandals and headed out. I planned on plucking the chicken up and locking it away in the coop. This had to be done before nightfall because it would be helpless against predators in the dark. I calmly walked over and reached for it. That slippery little creature was fast. It got away. Then I lunged for it once more. That's when Olive snuck up behind me and lunged at me. I fell forward, face down into a puddle of mud. Bad Olive, get down! Those words must translate differently in dog language because suddenly Olive bit down on my dress and began trying to drag me through the mud. Eventually, I freed my dress from her jaw. By now, I had come to terms that this was going to be more difficult than I imagined. The chicken strolled toward me, and I jumped up and I ran after it. Before I knew it, a full-blown race ensued. I chased the chicken, and Olive chased me. Each time I thought I was close to catching it, Olive would come behind and knock me to the ground, or would chase the chicken away. This game seemed to last hours. I grew tired and decided to rest. That's when the chicken flew toward the chicken coop door and walked right in. I couldn't believe my eyes after all that it had put me through. I calmly stood up, walked over, gathered the eggs in a coffee can, and then locked the coop door. In the midst of all this drama, Adelina had managed to grab my phone. She met me in front of the coop. Before I had a chance to react, she snapped a picture of me. Give me that! I snatched the phone from her hands as I furiously walked by her and toward the water hose. Olive's excited bark suddenly snapped me out of my memory fog. I looked over at my sad daughter and squirted her with the water hose as a sign of apology. All right, boys and girls, I hope you saw the different elements of personal narrative in my story. As you can see, there were a couple of spots like here and sad and furiously that I didn't get to color code. I must have not made it this far, but you can see that I did use emotion throughout my story. Now, my challenge to you is to go down to the Google document that we have provided down below and to write your own personal story. I want you to tell me about a time at your home. Now, this could be a happy time or a sad time. You decide. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.